Hey guys, what's up? So this is the part two on directive principles of state policy, and I will try to do this live session from 2nd January onwards every day, 10 p.m. So I will not be doing for next 3 days. So today we are going to discuss the part two of directive principles of state policy. पहले part में we had a lot of questions and we discussed and you answered. So we will try to do it for almost all these 350 days out of 365. So let's get started. So I've covered the basics of the directive principles, so we will cover the most important part. For example, which are the directives which are outside the part 4? So this is the question for you: which are the directives which are outside the part 4 of Indian constitution? So you can think about the directives which are inside. Which are the ones which are inside? Gandhian liberal and socialist principles. So they are inside the constitution. But do you think there are some rights which are outside the constitution but still it is there, outside the part 4 but it's still inside the constitution, and which serves as that directive principles? Yes, correct answer is first, development of Hindi language. So according to article 351, which is in part 17 of the Indian constitution, it is the government's duty. Which government? Union government, to promote the Hindi language everywhere, spread it, develop it. Okay, so for medium of expression for all the elements of the composite culture of India. That's what it reads. So that is the first directive principles, which is the outside the part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Second is whenever it talks about primary stage of education, especially to children belonging to the linguistic minority group, it is the every state will try, and every local authority like municipalities, panchayats, etc. They will try to provide the education in mother tongue. This is Article 350A again in Part 17. And the third DPSP, which is outside, is claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in service. So that is under Article 335, especially in administration, making of appointment services, union, state, all these services. There is a claim of the members. Okay, so these are the three DPSPs which are outside the part. Why do you think DPSPs are non-justiciable in a court of law? So this is again a question to you. Why do you think directive principles of state policies are non-justiciable in court of law? First of all, what do you mean by non-justiciable? So, for example, if a directive principle of state policy is getting violated, you cannot just go to court saying that this has to be provided. For example, if you have a 5-year-old kid and he is not being given early childhood care and nutrition, you cannot go to Supreme Court saying that your right is violated, directive principle is violated, so please do something about it. So that is wrong. So why that is? Yes, so people are saying sanctions behind directive principles. Yes, so whenever the constitution was made, especially if you remember, Alladi Swami Iyer, he said that no ministry responsible to the people can afford lightheartedly to ignore the provision in part 4 of the constitution. Okay, they said it, but they also said कि it is not able to enforce. बी आर अम्बेडकर ऑल्सो सेड कि जिस भी गवर्नमेंट को वोट चाहिए होंगे, विच एवर गवर्नमेंट, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द पॉपुलर वोट, सो दे कैन नॉट बी लाइक lackadaisical towards DPSP. They have to enforce it in the court of a law. ठीक है, आप समझ रहे हो? Okay, so that is how it will shape the policy of the government. So basically, DPSPs are non-justiciable, that legally non-enforceable in a court of law. Why? Because of the three things. First of all, एक तो फाइनेंस नहीं है आपके पास, मनी नहीं है आपके पास, बजट नहीं है कि आप इतनी बड़ी बड़ी स्कीम्स को फाइनेंस कर सको, जैसे कि अब करेक्ट आंसर्स आने लग गए हैं. देन सेकेंडली, लाइक जैसे आप एग्जांपल लो यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड का. सो ऑलरेडी द कंट्री वाज टोर्न अपार्ट, सिविल राइट्स हो रहे थे. सो दैट इज वाई इट इज नॉट, देयर इज सो मच डाइवर्सिटी, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू ब्रिंग इट, राइट? सो ह्यूज डाइवर्सिटी, प्लस द लिटरेसी रेट वॉज 11%. वहाँ पे आप अगर ऐसी चीज़ें समझाने लगोगे तो बहुत दिक्कत हो जाएगी. तो 11 या 20% या 30% लिटरेसी रेट में मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज illiterate, they don't know how to write their name, so that they cannot like fathom such liberal concepts back then. एंड फाइनली, मतलब अभी हमारा रोटी कपड़ा मकान, दीज आर द प्रायोरिटीज एट दिस मोमेंट. अभी बच्चा पैदा हुआ है तो फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी होनी चाहिए कि उसको दूध मिले, मतलब ही उसको ठंड ना लगे. उसको ये थोड़ी होगा उसको लग्जरी कार चाहिए अभी. तो प्रायोरिटी वाइज अगर आप बात करें तो प्रायोरिटी वॉज नॉट देयर. इंडिया अभी न्यू बेबी की तरह था, सो वी हैव टू नरिश इट. उसको अननेसेसरी एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं डाल सकते आप. ठीक है. सो क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 फॉर यू टुडे इज लाइक ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कुछ डीपीएसपी थे, लेकिन हो सकता है ऐसा क्वेश्चन आए कि विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग डीपीएसपी वाज नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ द ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बट वाज एडेड आफ्टर वर्ड्स। ओके, तो मतलब ये आपसे पूछा जा सकता है, इट इज़ अ वेरी प्रॉबेबल क्वेश्चन। सो कैन यू टेल मी द डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ द स्टेट पॉलिसी विच आर नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ द ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बट दे आर द पार्ट ऑफ प्रेजेंट डे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, मतलब अमेंडमेंट से जो ऐड हुआ है। तो बेसिकली जो चार पांच है मैं बता देता हूँ। सबसे मेजर चेंज, सबसे पहला चेंज जो आया था, yes the answers are coming, 42nd amendment act, yes. So 42nd constitutional amendment act did four major changes, because it is called a mini constitution, so it did a lot of changes, but there were four major changes in DPSP. First is like for healthy डेवलपमेंट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ होनी चाहिए आर्टिकल 39 के तहत। देन लाइक पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ वर्कर्स इन मैनेजमेंट ऑफ इंडस्ट्री, दिस इज आर्टिकल 43 है। देन प्रोटेक्टिंग सेफ गार्ड एनवायरनमेंट एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ, ये फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी भी है बाय द वे आपकी, which is article 48 है। and finally free legal aid to the poor and promoting equal justice, which is article 39 है। so these are the DPSP which were added after 42nd constitutional amendment act of 1976, and after by 44th amendment act, like article 38 said that state to minimize the inequalities in income, facilities, opportunities, etc. Then 86th constitutional amendment act and again changed the 45 article again, and I'm saying earlier it was 6 to 14, now it's changed to less than 6 years of age, early childhood care and education for all the children, early childhood care and education for all the children. 82nd constitutional amendment act of 2002 changed because article 21 was introduced, which said that it is a fundamental right of every Indian citizen to get education to 6 to 14 when you are a children, ठीक है। so इसको less than 6 करना पड़ा। now again recently the last amendment was done by 96th 97th constitutional amendment act of 2011, where it added a new directive principle of state policies relating to the cooperative societies. For example, promote voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control, professional management. Okay, that was article 43b. So these were the new directive principles which are not the part of original constitution, that were added to the DPSP. Now when it comes to like DPSP, people ask what are the, can you tell me the most important features of directive principles of state policy? अगर आपको कल को मेंस में एक शॉर्ट नोट लिखने को बोले कि what are the most important features of directive principles of state policy? So yes, so the first is it is non justiciable in nature. अब नॉन जस्टिशियबल इन नेचर का मतलब होता है कि आप कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते, इट इज़ नॉट लीगली एनफोर्सेबल। ओके, तो मतलब गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट बी कंपेल्ड फॉर देयर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। हाउएवर एज डॉक्टर बी आर अम्बेडकर सेड कि पॉपुलर गवर्नमेंट, अगर अगली गवर्नमेंट आई और उसने बहुत सारे इंप्लीमेंट कर दिए तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपके ऊपर लाइक वो होगा प्रेशर। लेकिन आर्टिकल जो सबसे पहला आर्टिकल है 36, वो बोलता है स्टेट, और 37 वाला बोलता है कि दीज आर फंडामेंटल इन द गवर्नेंस ऑफ कंट्री, और स्टेट का ड्यूटी होगी कि इनके लॉज बनाए जाएँ ताकि इनको वो करा जा सके, ठीक है। दूसरा, मान लिया कि दे आर नॉट जस्टिसेबल इन कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ और दे आर नॉट एनफोर्सेबल इन अ कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ, बट वेन एवर इट कम्स टू लेट्स से कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, वो आपका जब भी जुडिशियल रिव्यू होता है, सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट कम इनटू पिक्चर। बेसिकली आर्टिकल 14 जो होता है, इक्वलिटी बिफोर लॉ, और आपकी जो फ्रीडम्स होती हैं वो वर्सेज आर्टिकल 39B and C, इसकी हारमोनी देखी जाती है whenever they talk about कि whether the particular law is constitutionally valid or not. So it helps in the judgment of the judges in the courts. Third is obviously it talks about social, political, economic, आपका सब कुछ justice, liberty, सब कुछ वो देख लेता है। So basically it is like preamble को आपने expand कर दिया. So like basically idea of a welfare state. So this is the third important point. Then B.R. Ambedkar like said that they are instrument of instructions. Basically देर इज़ नथिंग, दे आर ऑलरेडी गवर्नर जनरल वगैरह करते थे इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस, उसी को आपने दूसरा नाम देके DPSP कर दिया। एंड फाइनली जब भी हमारा पार्लियामेंट या स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर बैठता है लॉज बनाने के लिए, तो दे कैन कीप इन माइंड DPSP, और जब भी वो कोई लेजिस्लेचर होता है अपना कोई भी लॉ कर रहे होते हैं, सो दे मेक श्योर दैट पार्ट 4 and part 3 आर टेकन केयर ऑफ, ताकि लार्ज मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पीपल कैन बेनिफिट। सो दीज आर द मेजर like features of the DPSP. I have already spoken about that they are taken from Irish constitution, so you don't need to worry about that. Then there are article 36 to 51, it covers basically like all these, they are part 4 of the Indian constitution. Classification we dealt in the last part already, we have talked about sanctions behind them. So the last part which we will discuss in this is, can you tell me like directive principles are